Morning! It is time for a Sunday sum up, and this week I'm actually going to do one. I got really sick last week again. I feel like I've been spending enough time sick in the last 6 months, and it's probably because it's my first year really working one-on-one every single day with kids, and we're up in each other's faces. I don't wear a face mask all the time. I should, but I feel like I've been sick long enough that I shouldn't be getting sick again anytime soon. My immune system should be boosted, and it sometimes feels a little impersonal. So when I am not sick, I don't wear a face mask, which is probably not a smart thing to do. But I also know that many teachers in their first year of teaching get sick quite often. It may have started as allergies, but it turned into kind of like an upper respiratory infection. So yeah, I didn't fully lose my voice, but I was starting to lose it yesterday. So luckily it's not gone. I'm ready to talk to you about books. I'm ready to tell you how the weeks have gone. I get to do some updates for Spring-Into-Reading-Athon. So I'm going to show you that and where I'm at with that soon. I do have 3, maybe more, but right now I have 3 books to review for you in this video. Hopefully I'll have more by the end of the week, but I don't know for sure. It sounds like we might be moving the live show for Jade War into April, which would be very helpful for at least 2 of us. Paige might get it done in time, but I don't think that Danielle and I will be able to get it done in time. And that's really helpful for me because I did get sick last week, so I wasn't doing much reading. I'm not very far into the audiobook of Shadow the Fox, so I definitely have to make progress on that, but that's one that I listen to mostly when I'm going to and from work, and hopefully I can get pretty far on that one. I'm still kind of working on that special project that I never got a chance to finish, so let's see how this week goes, considering I'm feeling a lot better. Oh, and my cousin Shar, Jordan's wife, is here visiting today. We're going to go do some cheese tasting, so I'll take you along for the ride for the cheese tasting. It seems like it's going to be fun. I'm very excited that we'll get a chance to spend time together because yesterday they went out and did a lot of fun stuff, but I was still not feeling, I was recovering, let's put it that way. So today is going to be a fun day around Bellingham, and I can't wait to share that with you. Okay, so Daughter of No Worlds worked for my road trip prompt because it was an audiobook. Then, let's see. Did I work for anything else on here? I did do my self-care day this past Saturday. You'll see footage of that in a special vlog. Then Daughter of No Worlds definitely worked for royalty. So where does that leave us? Not with a bingo. It is still 2. Oh, there's 3 in this row up here. So I'm getting closer. Once I get Shadow the Fox done and Joy Luck Club done, which that's probably going to be the last book I pick up. So, and Dragonwyck. Oh, I got to figure out what else Dragonwyck works for because I don't know that I'm going to get to that one this month. So let me go look at these prompts and see if any of the other books that I'm working on or I'm reading will work for them. So I'll be right back. Okay, sorry if things shifted. I knocked my tripod. So, spring fashion is read a book with a beautiful cover. I've got a lot of books that I think have a beautiful cover. So, I think that Under the Whispering Door is going to work for this. I don't know about Jade War. I mean, it's not an ugly cover, but I don't think it's particularly stunning. I mean, this isn't an ugly cover either. Beautiful cover, though. What do I think is I think I'm going to go with Under the Whispering Door. I do think this is a beautiful cover, and I think it's interesting. And I think this is actually going to work for Luck of the Irish because it's a book that has green on the cover. Let me double check. Yeah, read a book with green on the cover. And as you can see, this has a green, what is this sleeve called? Or this page inset? I don't know. And there's green here in the windows and the door. Let's see if there's any green on the back. Not really as much, but there's definitely green on the cover. This is more yellow, but this is a lot of green. And then, of course, these little bits of green here. So I'm going to count this for beautiful cover and Luck of the Irish, which means I better get that book done. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Then we have Over the Rainbow and Flower Power. So Over the Rainbow is a retelling or a classic story, which actually, obviously, the Joy Luck Club is going to work for that. The other one that will really work for this is Now We Are Six by AA Milne. This is AA Milne's poetry collection, and I've made a pretty good dent in this. I can't show you right now, but look, see? Look there. At least halfway. And I would consider this a classic. This is an older children's book, so this will work. So will the Joy Luck Club. This is the one I'm holding off till the end, though. So this is the one I'm a little worried won't get done in time. So let me put Now We Are Six because I'm over halfway done with this one. So this one's definitely going to get completed. And then finally we have Flower Power, which is read a book that has flowers on the cover. And I don't think this one has any actual flowers. It has greenery in the background. You can see like trees and stuff, but no actual flowers. So I don't think that's going to work. There's little bees, but no flowers. This, ooh, that works. That's a flower. That is a flower. See the leaves? I would consider that a flower. Is there any flowers on here? Looks just like bushes. Flowering bushes, but I don't know about that. No flowers on this one. And definitely no flowers on Project Hail Mary. And then as far as Shadow the Fox goes, no flowers on this one. Although there is like a pagoda and stuff back here, but just trees. And I don't see any actual flowers. So I think we're going to go with the Joy Luck Club for this one, because it's like one big flower. So considering that 1, 2, 3, there's 3 prompts that depend on me finishing the Joy Luck Club. I definitely need to get that one in this month. But I am just looking at this and I think I'm going to be able to do it. I can do it. Yes, I can do it. I just need to have confidence. Hello, it is Tuesday and my sub plans got canceled and I'm not mad about it. We're getting so close to spring break. Spring break's next week and I'm just like, work? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And it would have been the kids that I adore, my little second graders, that I sub for a lot. And actually I did get to sub for them half a day yesterday and it would have been a half day. But things changed and that's okay. I'm happy because then I can focus on doing some reviews today, getting caught up on my reviews because I've gotten further behind on my reviews than I would like. And grocery shopping and this and that. And there's a lot of things that need to be done always. And I just get to enjoy doing that today. Just got back from the gym, so if I look a little peaked, then that's why. And it was great. Leg day. It's going to be rough tomorrow. Anyways, I want to review Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. This is the audiobook that I listened to, and I think I ended up giving it a 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I think that if I read this one physically, I could have loved it. The audiobook just wasn't my favorite. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't the best audiobook I've ever read. And because it was fantasy romance and it was adult and there were a lot of political elements and battle elements to it, I feel like I might have enjoyed it a little bit better if I had read it physically. That being said, I still gave it 4.25 stars because I really enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to continuing on the series. I loved the characters. There's Tisana and I can't remember the main male character's name right now because this thing gets overworked and then it forgets things. But I really love Tisana. She's actually a main character that I enjoyed throughout. She didn't annoy me. There were times when I was like a little frustrated in the choices she made, for sure, because she makes one giant choice that you're like, and then we get to see how it affects everything because you know that it was a really bad choice. And then I really liked the main male character. He's a little gruff. He's a little grumpy sunshine, especially at first, but he ends up becoming just a very strong character. I liked him a lot. Oh, I really love his best friend. You know, that's why, because I listened to the audiobook, I can't remember the names as well. If I actually physically read the book and saw the names, I would remember the names better. So, sorry. There are people in this book, and I like them. So briefly, Tisana is a young piebald girl. She's part, well, I don't remember what they're called. I don't remember what anything is called in this world. But there are people who are magic and people who are not. And people who are magic have pure white of skin. They have silver hair and yellow eyes or something like that. And she's half and half. She's not full of whatever this type of human is. So she does have magical abilities, but because she's not pure-blooded or pure of this type of human, she is not as valuable. However, she technically has enough value with her abilities and how she looks that when her community is taken over by slavers as a child, she is able to come to an agreement that she's going to be sold off to someone who needs a person for entertainment. So she spends a good portion of her childhood and her teenage years being an entertainer / companion to this dude that's like a lord of something. And because of this relationship that she has built with this slave master relationship, where she feels that she has a lot more freedom than maybe other people who are enslaved feel, she makes an agreement with her master that if she can pull together 1,000 gold coins, she can buy her freedom. And things go wrong, and she ends up doing something that causes her to have to run away. I don't want to give anything away, but I mean, it's at the very beginning of the story, so it's not really a giveaway, but she ends up going to these orders of these magicians. So there are two different types. There are the people who look like her and have one type of magic, and then there's the other ones that have like a more earthy type of magic. And her goal is to get the order to take her in and then go back and save the other people who are enslaved, her friends, the people she left behind when she left the place where she had been enslaved. So that's her main goal. In the process, she gets assigned to someone who is supposed to teach her how to be a magician that will be accepted by the order. And really, there's a lot more to the story, but I think that kind of stuff is fun to discover on your own. So I'm not going to tell you too much more about it. I will say that I thought that it was written really well. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed finding out about their journey. There are some definitely really bleak aspects of this. You find out some things that are shocking, and I was in my car driving and I cried when I found out one thing that was very shocking. So it gives you these ups and downs of emotions. I thought that the romance was lovely. It's a slow burn, but I enjoyed this slow burn because I think it was attached to a fantasy romance. I don't typically love super slow burn books, but this one worked really well for how the book was laid out. And the writing didn't particularly stand out to me, but the way the story was crafted did. I felt like it was a really well crafted story, a really well paced story, actually really well paced story, especially for this type of fantasy. Sometimes they can feel like they're dragging too much. I didn't feel like it did, even though there were a few journey scenes in this, and yet those journey scenes, which in some other fantasy books take forever, didn't take too long. I enjoyed this so much. I was so captivated by the story that it feels like I should give it a higher rating than a 4.25 stars. And so really, maybe on a reread at some point I will, but I've got to be true to what it feels like at the moment. And because when I finished it, I kind of just forgot about it pretty quickly. Not forgot the story, but I forgot that I had read it. Like, it was like, oh yeah, I got to review that book. Oh yeah, I forgot I read that. That didn't bode well for the rating. However, all my experience reading it, I did enjoy it a lot. So I've got to give it a 4.25 stars, and I might actually buy that series at some point. I'm looking forward to continuing on with the series, but I would like to read it physically because I think I would enjoy it more with the characters' voices in my head versus the audiobook narrators' voices in my head, because I didn't really love the audiobook narrators. However, if you are looking for fantasy romance, I do recommend this series. I know that Carissa Broadbent has got big recently. Everybody's talking about Carissa Broadbent, and I can see why, because her writing is very entertaining, her characters are interesting, and they're likable. They're not, how some of these main characters in fantasy books tend to be, where you just like, I can't stand them. I can't stand all the choices they're making. I feel like her characters are pretty likable. And so as you go along, you just want to keep learning more and more, and you form an attachment fairly early on. Okay, I have now finished 2 more books, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it gets me. Okay, so first for Now We Are 6 by AA Milne. I completed this one, and I think I only had it for 2 of my prompts. So Flower Power, a book that has flowers on the cover. No, just kidding. Over the Rainbow, a book that's a classic. Yeah, that's what I counted it for, a classic book. And I'm gonna cross that off. And Tiptoe Through the Tulips, because even though this was more about Christopher Robin, it's in the Winnie the Pooh series. It's got Winnie the Pooh on it and stuff. So I'm going to count this as working for a title that matches the song. The title of the series is called Winnie the Pooh, and there's the Winnie the Pooh song. So I think it works. That's getting me closer. Now I only have to do, oh, I got to get a drink that has iced beverage, and then I do need to read the Joy Luck Club, which isn't high up on my list at the moment, but we're getting there. Okay, so for Under the Whispering Door, this works for Spring Fashion, which I decided was a book with a beautiful cover, because I do think this has a beautiful cover. And we'll cross that one out. And then it works for Rewind, which is a past Season-a-thon author or book. TJ Klune was a past Season-a-thon author. So I'm going to do that one. Look it, I'm really close here. Once I finish Shadow of the Fox, which I've started listening to that audiobook, but once I finish that, I will have a bingo right down the center. And then Luck of the Irish, a book that has green on the cover. This one definitely has some green on the cover. So I can cross that one out. Are there any other ones? I'm sure that they might work for other things, but that's all I have them set up for. Okay, so we're coming together to review Now We Are 6 by AA Milne for you because I read these poems to Mom.
I like her to read to me.
Yeah, especially poetry. So every night for a few nights
almost a week we were reading.
A little bit.
You were reading to me a little bit every night.
Yeah, not a lot, but like I've been really tired lately, so I'd read like 3 or 4 poems and I'd be like, okay, bedtime. So we had slightly different thoughts on this one.
Well, some of the poems were confusing to me, especially there was one about a king. And he was it kept saying he's a bad boy, and then he would say things that were kind of sweet, and then say he's a bad boy, and say. So I was a little confused by it. And Amy said there actually was a king that was a bad king. So
King John. This
is what 1927.
27. And so that was one of the things I was thinking about when Mom was saying some of these poems just didn't hit well for her, and she didn't quite understand some of the jokes, some of the references that they were making in here. Well, because it was silly.
Some of them were light and silly. Some of them I didn't think were.
But most of them were meant to be funny.
Okay.
And some of the things didn't hit, and I think it was because we may not understand some of, not even like pop culture references, because I don't mean that, but what I mean is like turns of phrases that they would have used in the 20s.
Okay.
Different things that were comedic, or phrases that were used at that time that were comedic that we probably wouldn't get, or it wouldn't be something that we use commonly.
True. I may look old, but I wasn't around in the 1920s. I was born in 1953.
So yeah, she doesn't quite, she's a little too modern for this
book. Some of these were really, really cute, and we laughed a lot. And then some of them just went right over my head.
Yeah, and they were a lot of fun. And there were definitely ones within here that I would love to read to my students at some point, because they were fun little tongue twisters. And let me tell you, elementary school kids love poetry, for one. And they love funny, silly, tongue twistery kind of things.
They do. Kids always do. I remember Nathaniel would come and give us little jokes when he was younger. Yeah. They love poetry. It's so cute.
They do. And so I want a copy of this for myself, because I don't necessarily know that I would read every single poem in here to my students, because there's some that are outdated and some that didn't, a couple that had slightly, like, they didn't age well in some of the terms they used. And so I would either change those terms to something that was more acceptable nowadays, or I just wouldn't read those.
Yeah, we did talk about that. There was one that there was some wording in there that we thought wasn't appropriate today.
Yeah.
And we were trying to think of words that Amy could use instead.
Right.
But, at least half of them were really cute and tongue twisters and things children would love.
Yeah, and they were heartwarming. And a lot of them were simple, silly, like everyday kind of things that kids think about when they're kids. I liked it a lot, actually. I think I'm going to give it a 3.75, and you were saying like
3.5.
3.5.
There were a little bit more than 2 or 3 that were just either over my head or didn't gel with me at all. I felt like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, humor is different. You know, you think about like what was funny back then versus what's funny now, and it's completely.
And there's actually, I was just talking to somebody about this lately. Humor in other cultures, in other countries. My ex is Polish. He would tell us jokes and laugh, and I didn't get them. I'm like, okay, so jokes and poems in other cultures may not mesh with us.
Yeah, types of humor is different in different time periods. I mean, I think about the kind of humor that I grew up with versus the kind of humor you grew up with.
Oh, yeah.
Versus the kind of humor that is around nowadays too, which is very different. And so I think that has some bearing on how some of these actually hit. I loved Sneasels because
that was such a tongue twister.
They wondered if weasels could turn into measles, if Sneasels could turn into mumps. They examined his chest for a rash and the rest of his body for swellings and lumps. They sent for some doctors and Sneasels and weasels to tell them what ought to be done. And then here later on it goes, they expounded the reasons for Sneasels and weasels, the manner of measles. I just love
kids.
I love that. I just thought it was so clever and fun.
I love that one.
Yeah. That was a really good one. I'm interested in reading more of the Winnie the Pooh books now because I thought this was so cute and clever. And I would like to see what else AA Milne is doing.
I love the comic, the television show.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've read any of the books.
No, and this is the fourth in the series, or third or fourth in the series. So I'm like, I gotta try out some of these other ones and see how much I actually like the Winnie the Pooh series. Okay, so let's talk about my most recent 5-star read, and that is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which I absolutely loved. I really loved this book. I came to love the characters so much, especially Wallace, who I was afraid I wouldn't love from the very beginning, because he has this Ebenezer Scrooge personality when you first meet him, but he transforms quite a bit, pretty quickly actually, and I might feel like it was less believable if I didn't like his character so much, but I really did end up loving Wallace. And then we've got Hugo. Oh, I love Hugo. Hugo is our ferryman. So what happens is, at the very beginning of this, Wallace dies, and he is taken by a reaper, who's May. She's one of our characters as well. I really like her also. He's taken by May to the ferryman, who is Hugo, and Hugo is supposed to help him cross over when he's ready. He can ask Hugo all the questions he wants to ask about the process. He has time to come to terms with his life ending before he crosses over. Problem is, Wallace has not lived a good life. So when he dies, he is in shock. He doesn't want to move on to the next place because he really doesn't feel like he's lived much of a life. And so it's very interesting seeing the process that he goes through, getting to know Hugo, getting to know May, getting to know Nelson, who is Hugo's grandfather. And, no, is Nelson the dog? No, Paula's the dog. Thank goodness. Okay. Grandfather's Nelson, Apollo is the dog. And he's getting to know these group of people, which eventually this does have a found family aspect to it. And I really loved the conversations around grief with this one. I cried quite a few times. I mean, really big cries, because grief is a really hard topic. It's an important topic. I think that it's a topic we don't go over enough because we're so afraid of it. It's a fearful thing. But I really like when you read books like this that bring a lot of clarity to death and bring a lot of beauty to it also. Not that death is beautiful, but a life that has been lived can be very beautiful. And so I really, really enjoyed so much of this. And I'm going to give it 5 stars because it was just incredible. It made me laugh so hard. I remember I was at the doctor's office waiting for the nurse to come back. And I read one particular scene in this. I was dying laughing so hard that I'm surprised nobody came in to check on me because I was loudly laughing. And there were a lot of moments throughout this book where I was laughing a lot. And I know that TJ Klune's writing can do that. So I really did love how he was able to take such a sad, dark, difficult topic of grief and death and dying and bring the humor out in it, but also bring so much heart to this story. I felt like there was a lot of heart, and I really liked the character. I really liked so much about this. If I were to have any complaint about this book at all, and it doesn't actually bring my rating down, I would say that the ending was just a little too convenient. It was a little too convenient. I was thinking to myself there at the very end, I'm like, you could have got a little more creative, TJ Klune. It's not really anticlimactic, but I guess it's a little when you're hoping for something a little more. And I don't know what that more should have been. I have some ideas of what could have been, but I did like the ending. I just thought it was too convenient, and I felt like it could have been better. It could have been even better. And I highly recommend it if you're looking for something that's funny, that's charming, has a lot of heart, brings characters that at first you're like, oh, this guy's a jerk. But I do feel like you can grow to love our main character, Wallace. You will absolutely love Hugo. He's an incredible character. And also, the side characters are fantastic as well. Okay, so it's time to do some reevaluating the prompts because I know at this point that I'm not going to get the Joylet Club or Jade War done before the end of the month. So it's possible that with the books I already have, I could use the books I've already read this month to fulfill those prompts. So let's see what I can change. So for spring cleaning, the prompt is read a book that's been collecting dust on your shelf. Under the Whispering Door, I put on my Goodreads TBR in 2021, which wasn't that long ago. However, I don't know when I actually got the physical copy of it. I can't remember. So let me see if I have a small, teeny tiny book that I've had for a really long time that I could maybe squeeze in this month before the end of the month. It's the 28th right now, so I'm cutting it close. I don't actually know when I got this book. Julie Morgan, architect, she is the female architect that did, Hearst Castle in San Simeon. And I bought this at the Hearst Castle Museum while I was there at one point. I don't remember when. On my Goodreads, I show that I added it on December 2020. Guarantee you that was during COVID. I definitely did not get this then. I got this way before that. But I'm going to try and read this weekend. It's just a shorter book. It's got a lot of pictures in it. It's definitely got some sections of writing and stuff like that. But I think this would be a quick read. And I feel like I could complete this within a day. That's fine because I'm going to finish Shadow of the Fox. Stormy Weather, what is that? Read a book that intimidates you. Did I read any books that intimidated me this month? Jade War worked out really well for this one. But I know I'm not going to get it done in time. Hold on, let me see. You know what? I'm going to count the Guest Cat for this one because it didn't intimidate me when I picked it up. But when I started reading it... Oops, sorry. I knocked that with my toe. Let me try to fix that. Okay. When I started reading it, it was definitely not the type of book that I would typically pick up, and it was more philosophical, and the writing wasn't, I don't know, it felt intimidating once I picked it up. Let's put it that way. I did have a harder time getting through this one. It took me a little longer because it was different than what I expected, I guess. So I'm going to put the Guest Cat for that. And I'll let that dry, and then I'll cross it out. April Showers. What is that one? Read a book you think will make you sad. Oh, Under the Whispering Door. Yeah, totally. So I'll let that one dry a bit, and then I'll do that one. Prom Queen. A lot of them would work for this one. It's a read a popular book. So I think I'm going to go with, you know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with Daughter of No Worlds, because even though that's not necessarily Carissa Broadbent's most popular book right now, she's got quite a lot of people talking about her right now. And it is one of her more popular series of the series that she's written. So I think I'm going to go with that just because I know that at a time, this was definitely a popular book. And right now, Carissa Broadbent's sort of making a resurgence in the community, the BookTube community, for her writing in general. So then this, I will finish Shadow of the Fox, Spring Forward. I did Jade War for a lot of these, didn't I? Read the next book in a series. Yikes. Oh, An Offer from a Gentleman. Yeah, that was the next book in a series. Perfect. Okay, so I can cross that one off. Love is in the Air, An Offer from a Gentleman. This was a book that is either a friendship or a romance. Let's see. Love is in the Air, read romance or a book centered around friendship. So An Offer from a Gentleman works for that. Definitely a romance. I'll be finishing Shadow of the Fox. Friendship Bracelets. I don't know for sure that I will get Project Hail Mary done before the end of the month. I'm gonna leave this for now on the chance that I actually get it done before the 31st, but I might have to change that if I don't get it completely done. Flower Power, a book with flowers on the cover. No, I don't have anything for this. That's unfortunate. Oh, do I have any graphic novels that have flowers on the cover? Let me take a look. It turns out I do have a graphic novel that has a flower on the cover. It has one flower on the cover that I can see. I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young. Here's a flower. That's a pretty sad looking flower, but that's definitely a flower. And so that would count, and it's nice and short graphic novel. So this was a gift from my friend Magda, and I'm excited to read this. I've been wanting to read it for a while, but I've kind of been saving it for a readathon or something like that, and it's working for this one. And then finally, Teeny Umbrellas is to get my favorite iced beverage. And tonight I'm actually going out to dinner with my cousins at a place I love, and I will get an old-fashioned while I'm there, and that will count for Teeny Umbrellas, so then I can cross that one out. So let's do some crossing out now. So I can cross out the Guest Cat because I finished that. I can cross out Under the Whispering Door. There's my bingo, my first bingo. Daughter of No Worlds, I finished that. An Offer from a Gentleman, I finished that. An Offer from a Gentleman. Still haven't finished Shadow of the Fox, but I'm getting close to finishing that one, so that'll work. Haven't finished Project Hail Mary. That's the one I'm a little concerned with. I Hate Fairyland, so that's all I was able to cross out. So I was able to get one bingo right across there. And then once I get this one, it'll give me a whole bunch of bingos. I have amazing news. It's spring break. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I just need it. I need a break. I'm exhausted. And this week especially, I've been feeling really tired. I didn't sub as many days this week because of things that happened. I had a doctor appointment. I had a sub half day that was canceled, which is fine. There were things that went on this week with teachers that changes had to be made. But today was a great day. Today was my last day before spring break. I got to sub the morning for one of my favorite classes, and then the afternoon was just art in the special ed room. So like, it was awesome. It was really cool. So it really was a great way to kickstart spring break, and I'm just really excited. I can't wait to get things done, but then also we're going on a little trip to Whidbey Island. I can't wait to read, get a lot more reading done. Aurelium's starting, so at least I have other books I have to finish before Aurelium, but I'm excited. I'm ready. And I've been really tired. Like, I've been feeling a little burnt out, especially this week. Being a teacher, especially being a sub, just being a teacher in general is exhausting. It's just exhausting, let me tell you. And I'm constantly learning, which is wonderful, but that means my brain is constantly just needing time to recoup. Wednesday was a bit of a tough day. I did everything right. My teacher moves were fantastic. It was just a difficult day because of things that I didn't have control over. So, it's interesting. It's very interesting. this whole experience. I learned so much, which is great. So I want to give you a review of Shadow of the Fox because I just finished it by Julie Kagawa, and this is the group book for Season-Athon. So I'm really excited that I got that one done because the live show is tomorrow morning and I want to make sure I'm ready for that. I enjoyed this book a lot more than I expected to, actually. I mean, I expected to enjoy it, but I wasn't sure how much I would enjoy it. I, at the moment, am thinking 4.5 stars, but I'm looking forward to the live show discussion with Julie this weekend because this is one of those books that actually could, like, I could tip this over to 5 stars because I had a hard time putting it down. I read through it very quickly. I'm looking forward to reading the next one, and I'm not someone who needs to read the next book in a series right away. But with this one, you kind of do, because it's not like there's some great resolution at the end of this where you're like, okay, I'm satisfied for now. It really does push you to read the next book. And I don't think it's spoilery. That's just telling you kind of how this ends. It's quite, I wouldn't say it's a cliffhanger necessarily, but things happen at the end and you're like, well, the story's not done. This is YA fantasy. So the writing style was a little more simplistic and the characters, like we focused a lot on the characters. It was a little more sweet at times than I'd say an adult fantasy would be with this storyline because there was a lot about demons. There was a lot about the dark side of this world, and I feel like it could get really, really dark, and it doesn't get that dark because it is a YA story. But I really loved it. I loved the characters in this. We do get sort of a found family situation where we're adding more characters along this journey. I really liked our main character, Yumeko. I loved Tatsumi, who is the shinobi who is like, he's protecting her on this journey, but at the same time he's trying to get the scroll that she is protecting, which that is part of the whole idea. She is kitsune, she's half fox. She lives with this group of monks. She gets in a lot of trouble like foxes tend to do, and she hates living within this monastery that she doesn't feel like she's ever going to get out of. At the beginning of this, the monks are all killed, and she is responsible for this scroll, a piece of this scroll that, when combined with the other scroll pieces, will bring about this dragon that will promise one wish to whoever summons this dragon. And it's incredibly dangerous because the people who want to summon the dragon, they want to have power over all people. They want to be able to take over all the kingdoms, and it's not a good thing. So she needs to go off and take the scroll to another place where it will be safe. And along the way, she meets other people that are there to help her get to that safe spot. There's a lot of deceit going on in this, but for good reason. I thought that the story was really interesting. I loved all the Japanese influence that came into this. I don't know how much of it is real Japanese folklore. It'll be interesting to find out more information about that from Julie Kagawa when we have our discussion with her. So I can't wait to talk to her more about what her inspirations were, how much of it was pulled from her own knowledge of Japanese folklore. I am really excited about this one. I'm excited about talking to the author about it because I think it's a very interesting storyline. I think that the characters are really interesting, and all the what seems like folklore that would go behind this was also fascinating, so I'd like to learn more. I did listen to audiobook for a portion of this and physically read it. I definitely liked physically reading it more, but that being said, the audiobook was really good. And so I highly recommend the audiobook if you're looking to just pick this one up. Okay, I'm getting ready to do the live show for Shadow of the Fox, but before I do that, I wanted to update where I'm at here. How many bingos did I get now that I finished Shadow of the Fox? So, oh, and I did my teeny umbrellas. I got my old-fashioned yesterday. Nope, I got it on Thursday. Okay, so I guess starting down here, I got my old-fashioned, and I'll show you that here, a little video clip of it. Okay, so still doesn't give me a bingo because I haven't read I Hate Fairyland. Then I have read Shadow of the Fox, so that works for a female protagonist that is the main character, like a strong female protagonist. The group book is Shadow of the Fox. I finished that. Bingo here, a bingo there, but still no bingos like that. Oh, this one, nope, that didn't finish that one. Okay, and then for New Beginnings, I don't remember what that prompt was, but I finished it with Shadow of the Fox, so let's see. And that actually gave me a bingo there. So I have started Julia Morgan for spring cleaning. And once I get that one done, it would give me a bingo like this, like that. I need to read I Hate Fairyland, and then I'm really hoping I can get Project Hail Mary completed this weekend. We'll see. But I can definitely get those two done. So it would be really nice to get a whole blackout. I'm getting so close. so close. Hey, so it's Saturday evening and I'm frantically trying to get this video edited so I can get it up tomorrow, but I wanted to close out this sum up and tell you a few other things before I get going. Today was a good day. It was a busy day, but like a busy day just doing BookTube stuff. So I've been doing a little bit of reading. I had 2 live show discussions for Spring-Into-Reading-Athon where we were closing things out. We had a discussion with the author, Julie Kagawa, about Shadow the Fox. Absolutely loved our discussion. It was a lot of fun, and I will link that up here if you want to go check it out. Then we had the after hours live show, and we chatted for about 2.5 hours, just mostly about travel stuff. Melanie's on a whole bunch of trips this year, so we were just chatting about traveling and all the things that have to do with that. So it was just fun to catch up with those 2 and get to know Stephanie from Stephanie's Book First a little bit more because I haven't really spent much time getting to know her. I wanted to give you a quick little book haul of the books that I got on the day that we were out with my cousins, and we hit 2 Little Free Libraries. I didn't take a video of the second one, but at the first one, I picked up Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple because this was the second Little Free Library that I hit up in a row where this book was in there, and it was a different Little Free Library, and I was like, well, I guess the book world is trying to tell me something. Amy, you need to pick this up. And it was free, right? So I just had to exchange books that I was trying to get rid of anyways, and I picked up Where'd You Go, Bernadette. I've heard really good things about this, so I'm hoping that I'll enjoy it. It'll be a fun read. I imagine it'll be a fun read. And then I wanted to take my cousins to the best Little Free Library because every single time I go to this one, it's just so well curated. I think the person that owns it has a book box. I think they have Book of the Month and get different subscription box books, or they just love reading because there's always great books in this Little Free Library. We didn't leave the best books, but they needed a new home, so we left books. And we found a lot of really awesome books. The one I ended up picking up is The Splendid and the Vile by Erik Larson. Erik Larson is the author of Devil in the White City and Dead Wake, both of which I've read and loved. I really like his writing style. I like the research he does, but how he brings a narrative voice into a lot of his nonfiction. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Honestly, don't know much of what it's about, but it says Erik Larson, so I'm gonna pick it up. And it was free. It says, a saga of Churchill family and defiance during the Blitz. Okay, so it's going to be a World War II book, but I think I'm going to really enjoy it. And then aside from getting this video edited and put up, tomorrow's Easter, so I don't know what we have planned. Maybe we'll go over to my aunt's house and color some eggs and do some stuff. I'm not sure. I don't know yet what Jordan and Shar want to do, but I really do need to finish out my reads for Season-a-thon because I'm so close to a blackout. So I'm not gonna actually finish my blackout, like finish filling that out in this video because I still have one more day of the readathon. So I am currently working on Julia Morgan, Architect. This is an American Women of Achievement book. And this is a series of books about women who've achieved different things within America. And so I'm currently right there. Not too far along, but you know, I'm just cracking little bits here and there. I love the pictures in here. And so the reading of it is going pretty quickly when I actually sit down and read it because a lot of the sections have like really big pictures and a little bit of text. So I'm just kind of plodding along at this and learning more about, an area I know very well in California, starting out her life in Oakland and San Francisco. So it's fun to hear the history, and I know some of the history, but then being able to place this person within the history that I already know of that area. I really enjoy books like that. I like being able to tie the bigger picture together and see where all the little pieces fit. Little pieces meaning Julia Morgan, where she fits within the story. So I am enjoying that, and I hopefully will get it done before end of day tomorrow. Then I haven't yet picked up I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young, but I don't think this one will take very long. I'm kind of saving it to finish after this one because I feel like this one will take a little more brain power, and then maybe late at night I can pick this one up. And then finally, my special project. I don't know that I'll get this done by end of day tomorrow, but I can always try. My secret project does work for friendship bracelets, which is one of the prompts up there. However, I do think that I can make Under the Whispering Door work for that prompt because it's a book that's been recommended by a friend, and I have definitely been recommended Under a Whispering Door by my cousin Jordan, by Shell, by people who love TJ Klune. So I feel like I might have to change that because I don't think I'm going to be able to get this one done by end of day tomorrow. I just, I don't know what's happening for Easter. So I'll give you an update next week for the next Sunday Sum Up, so you'll get to see what actually happens. And stay tuned, my Aurelium TBR will be coming out soon. I don't know when. I was hoping to get Jordan in to film it with us. So we're just trying to figure out, with her wife visiting, when we can make that work for the schedule. It might not happen until next week. And then I will get that Aurelium TBR up. I know it'll be late. However, the way that I do Aurelium is that I have until the next equinox to complete the books. So I'm not too concerned about that. I will be coming out with a Tales from Two Trails / my April reads that I need to read video very soon. So I'll hopefully get that one filmed tomorrow and edit it and get it up to you so that you'll at least have an idea of some of the things I'm going to be reading in April. I am planning on having a good time next week for spring break, but then also hopefully getting some more editing done so I can get a couple more videos out to you. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've read any of the books that I talked about in this video, and what were your thoughts? Did you enjoy them? Were they completely different feelings about these books than I had? I love to hear different perspectives, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe so you can see what happens when Aurelium starts. What's going to happen next week with my spring break? Oh, I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.